In this video, I will cover everything about the 3D segments project file. So here I am inside the project file, and I've already imported a couple of files here, and I've shown you in the previous tutorial how you can import files. So here I have all of these, all of the segments composition. So logo transition, coming up long, coming up short, and the versus composition. All right, so let's start with the logo transition. If you go inside your render, you can access all of these compositions individually through the render folder. And here inside the holders folder, you can see that we have holders for all of the compositions. So in this case, I'm trying to edit the logo transition. So I will go to the transition folder. And here we only have one holder to take care of, so let's double click this to open. And you can see here that there's already a logo, so if you want to use your own logo, just drag and drop it inside the composition. Select the logo and press S for scale and readjust the scale and positioning. And I can go ahead and delete the previous logo. And if I go back inside the logo transition composition, you can see it updated here. Also inside this transition holder, I have a text layer already set up. So if you unhide the text layer and hide the logo layer, you can see here that I have a text for rounds, for example, but you can change this to any other text. So, you can use a text here, for example, and just reposition this and format this. And this text layer already has some effects, so a ramp and a bevel alpha for optimum quality, and inside the logo transition you can see it already updated here. So you can also use a text for this. It doesn't have to be a logo necessarily. Let's switch this back to a logo and hide the text layer. Go back inside the logo transition, and let's take a look at some of the settings here. You can affect the first color, and let's change this. This will be the lights around this circle here. Color tool, let's see what this does. Let's change this to, let's actually choose another frame. Just give it a second and maybe go forward a few frames. Right, so let's change the color 1. And you can kind of see here that the part which is affected. And you can also change the color 3, which is this one at the bottom here. Alright, and here's another option. If you want to change the color of the fire, you will need to uncheck original color. So fire original color, you can uncheck this, and then you can set up a custom color for the fire if you need to. So you can also affect that as well. For example, make it green, and if not, just check back fire original color. Alright, so that's it for logo transition. Let's go to coming up long. So coming up long and coming up short are built up exactly the same, and I will only show you how you can edit coming up long, but it's exactly the same principle as the other one. So here inside coming up long, we will go to our holders, and we have a media holder and a text holder. So inside the media holder, double click to access, and you can drop your footage here. Alright, and let's just brighten this up a bit by using a curves adjustment. And let's go back inside coming up long. And this is how it looks. And let's also edit the text. So text holder, coming up, different text just to test this. Alright, so you can see it updated here. And you have exactly the same settings as it's pretty much the opener. So volumetric lights, change that, change the volumetric lights to at the bottom, change the regular lights and regular lights too. And finally, we have a setting for the panel. So you can see we have a lot of control for the colors. So coming up short works exactly the same. And finally, we have our versus segment. Alright, and here for our versus, we have a VS holder. So this is the holder here in the middle. and you can change the text for this, and you can also use a logo for this. So let's rescale this, and let's go back inside the verses, and you can see it. We can you can use a logo, so this doesn't necessarily needs to be a versus segment. You can also type something like round, so, or like fifth round or something. So let's see, for example, we have a text for the bottom and text for the top. So let's see, top text, let's change this to fifth, and bottom, we can change this to round. Of course, you can format your text and pretty much use any font you want. And this font is, by the way, called Bank Gothic. Alright, so if I go back now inside the versus comp, you can see you can use pretty much whatever text you want. And inside the middle here, you can actually skip this middle part, like if you go inside the versus holder composition, and if I leave this as blank and go back inside the versus text, there's nothing here, and you also have that option. So let's undo that, and let's take a look at some settings here. Let's see, lights 1. Alright, lights 2 over here, and let's see, highlights. So highlights for the text and the logo. Let's see, highlights 2, you also need a color for this. And let's see, highlights 3 at the bottom. And then particle and sparks, you can also change those. Just another frame here, and as you can see, you have a lot of control over the look. Alright, so that's pretty much how you can edit all of these compositions. The only thing here, don't forget, if you want to, when you make your render, so after you've done your editing and want to make the render, go to composition, pre-render, and here where it says custom AV, you will have to choose a format that allows you to export channels RGB plus alpha. So this will be for using it as a seamless transition. So if I look inside the logo transition here in the start, you can see that this comes with alpha channel. So you can pretty much just overlay this render over any video, and it will just create a seamless transition. So in your render settings, just make sure that the channels are RGB plus alpha. Format AV works fine. Hit OK, hit render, and that's it. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next tutorial.